Morning, good morning. Today I wanted to go over analyzing pre-market earnings plays for potential box-ins or trades throughout the day. For today, the only two that I saw that were or had some potential were FDS and LEN for the pre-market ones, and then post-market we have four of them that we'll be taking a look at. So let's go ahead and break those down and see if they may have some potential today. All right. So the first one we're looking at is FDS, FactSet. And as you can see here, let's go ahead and use the tools that are available to us, and let's see what this one actually offers us. So it's clearly on an uptrend when you're looking at the daily. So let's see what it does every time it has earnings. So every time it has earnings, and this line in the middle here is the earnings day, okay, when you see this. So this candle right in the middle is the one right after earnings, okay? So as you can see here, it had earnings. It went down going into earnings, gapped down and went up, and then it went up from there the days that followed, the 2 days that followed. This one, it was on an uptrend, it looks like. It gapped up and continued going higher. This one was going sideways. It gapped down and went up. Going down, gapped down and went down. Going down, gapped down and went down. This one gapped down and went up. This one gapped up and went down. And then this one gapped up and continued going up. And then this one is on an uptrend, as we just saw, but it's going down into earnings, and it's definitely already gapping up, and we can see that clearly on the charts. So now, looking at the 30-minute charts and the 10-minute charts, we can see that it is definitely going to gap up today. The only thing I'm noticing is that it has very little pre-market action for us to make a reasonable decision as far as a box in goes. So we can't make our decisions on how we're going to box this in based on the pre-market information, because there's just not enough of it. This is a pretty big box. $3 box is not the way I want to box anything in. So this one, we would have to go based on the price action, or just wait for a a pattern to develop as far as which way we want to take it. So far, I mean, the only thing you can see here is the RSIs are at overbought levels. But again, this is from way early in the morning. We're not going to have any data appear, which is going to be an issue. As you can see, almost all the days before that, there's just no pre-market data at all. So these ones become tough to actually box in because you don't have too much data. So on this one, yeah, you could use this one and just wait. But, I mean, if you wait till it breaks 302, I mean, you have clearly set targets here at 297 and 295, followed by 289. But to the upside, it's at new high. So there is nothing for the upside. So you would just have to kind of play this one out and see how much further higher it could go. So if it does break 305, is it going to 320 next? We just don't know because we don't have that data. It just hasn't been there ever. So this is the first time reaching these all-time highs. So you could continue to roll it out. So one thing that you would want to look at is, hey, potential news. Has it been upgraded or pushed to a specific target? People expect it to get to a target, and then maybe you can target that minus 10, 20, 10, 15, or $20 just in case, just to make sure you are able to capture in some profits. But here, all you can see is the board approves 210 million existing share repurchase program. Okay, so you can kind of use that data to your advantage. But from what I can see here on the daily, let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly. All right, so we have the weekly RSI coming off of the peaks. So this could potentially retrace, but it is gapping up. It looks like it may open around 302, 303. If it does break 305, okay, so yeah. So looking at this, now that I'm looking at the weekly chart, if it does break 305, I would take it long. So I'm definitely going to add this one to my chart, and I am going to use that 305 line as my guiding post as far as if I'm going to take this long. Okay, and then if we're targeting to the downside, this one takes 30 a month to move $30, a week to move 14, and about a day to move $6. Okay, yesterday it moved from 299 all the way down to 293, so it's pretty on point. The day before it moved from 299 to 296, so about $3, and the day before that it moved from 305 to 298. So it's pretty on point. So if we are able to select a decent target on this one, we can start making a better plan for how we are going to execute this trade here. So breaking 305, I would expect it to move, let's say, to 311, 310. 310 to be safe, just because, in case it opens around 302 or 303, you want to target that $6 move, $6 to $7 move today. It may have an increase in volume because it is just coming off of earnings, so you can expect a bigger move today. So as you can see here, the last time it did earnings, it had a move of 230 all the way up to 248. So $18 move there. The time before that, it went from 223 down to 193. So a $30 move there. So today we can expect it to move pretty nicely. So I would start taking layering out at the $6 to $7 mark and $14 mark, and then leave 1 or 2 contracts to go a little bit further just in case. And today is Tuesday, so we can do this week's or we can do next week's. And then if we're targeting a longer term profit, let's say it hitting this 50 MA, but honestly, this thing is in such an uptrend. I don't know that I want to fight that just yet. Especially being that it's gapping up today, and unless it breaks down completely and immediately after the open, I would just expect this thing to continue going higher. And a good target is 320. I mean, it moves $30 in a month, but every time it has earnings, it moves about $20. So 320 to 325 shouldn't be too bad of a target for it today. RSI has moved to run to the downside or the upside, so it could bounce from here since it already came out of that zone. So this one is definitely going into my flex grid, so I can keep an eye on it today. And let's go ahead and see if we can take a trade on this one. So let me go ahead and replace bind with FDS. All right, so let's go on to the next one, which was LEN, and see if we have any potential plays on that one. All right, LEN on the weekly is just moving sideways. Okay, this thing has been choppy chop coming off here. So it looks like on the weekly we have a potential target onto the downside of 49.77. I'm not a big fan of trading these below 100, but occasionally I do take a look just in case, because opportunities are opportunities. You just never know. But looking at the 10 and 30-minute charts, I can already see that it's gapping up. And let's see what it did the last time it had earnings. All right, the last time it had earnings, they gapped up for the day and went up for the day and finished higher. But the days that followed, it went lower. The time before that, it gapped up. And then the days that followed, it went down and then sideways. Before that, it gapped down, up, then down. So this was a pretty choppy day here. And then the days that followed, it went down, gapped up, went down, down, sideways, gapped up, up. This one gapped down and up, gapped up and up, and then gapped up and down. So it seems to like to gap up and then go down, especially on the days that follow, more than it does on the days, the actual day. So if I were to trade this one, I'd probably give myself a week or more time to let this play out, or maybe just play it a little bit more careful since it is not as smooth. Most of these, as you can see, have wicks. which makes it tougher because if you jump in the wrong direction when you box it in, then that means you're going to get stopped out and you're going to have to just adjust the position. So this one, and because it's such a cheaper stock, it may be one where you may want to just do a spread or do something that you put time on your side just in case. But we can clearly see here on the 30-minute chart that it is gapping up. It hit a high of 54.7. Again, right around the same area here. So it's having an issue breaking up above that 55 area. So if it does break above 55, we can expect it to continue going higher. Giving ourselves time, we moved about $5 a month. Every time it has earnings, it moves, let's see, from 47 to 53. So it moves about a month's worth in every time it has earnings, from what I gather here. So let's see, here it moved from 41 to 46. Yep. So there you go. So today we can expect it to move around $5 to $6. It's my expectation. If it goes up in here and it immediately shoots down, I can expect it to come back down to the $50 level. If it does manage to break higher, the next area would be probably the 60, followed by the 72 in about 2 months or something like that. It's not going to get there today. But again, increased volume is expected for these since they are having earnings pre-market. Obviously, both of these probably already announced. Yep. And that's why you see the massive spikes already. But again, with the little data pre-market, all you have is these. You have big boxes. These are going to be a little uncomfortable to kind of box in. You kind of have to take a look at everything and see what the play is and what is the best possible scenario for these. This one specifically, I would probably push out a little bit longer. I'm probably not going to add it to my flex grid. Just doesn't look appealing to me. I'm not going to push it. It does seem to have a good amount of options volume though, so it could turn out to be a good play in the long run by doing some spreads. I would probably do some put spreads, verticals, just to collect some premium, and that's it. Or even do an iron condor, where basically you're boxing it in with an iron condor. Do the 65 70s and maybe the 40 35s. Pretty far away distance, or even the 45 40s and the 60 65s. Just giving yourself enough room to let this thing pretty much stay out of that zone from the time that you plan to do the iron condor. That's pretty much it for this one, guys. Those are the two ones that I wanted to take a look at this morning, see if they had some potential. I definitely added FDS to my pre-market or my flex grid so that I can keep an eye on it, because I may want to take a trade on that one today. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.